on and ready for Florida State's last stand as the 5th-seeded Seminoles try to survive against 12-seed Texas Tech. Could be the last game in Garnet and Gold for Michaela Edenfield. Could be a coronation for Texas Tech this year under Nigeri Kennedy, with the Red Raiders 1 win away from their first ever World Series appearance, led by the bat of Kennedy and the arm of Kennedy, who homered and threw a 79-pitch shutout. So Texas Tech is a win away from advancing to Oklahoma City, where they would face the winner of Ole Miss and Arkansas. This is the top half of our bracket. The only time all 8 Super Regionals are guaranteed to play on one day, with Florida winning today. And Florida State needs to solver to keep its season alive. First pitch of the game fouled away by Isa Torres, and a 3:05 local here in the capital of Florida, Tallahassee. We are underway. Isa Torres struck out to begin the game yesterday, just her 5th strikeout of the year. And she fouls another one away on a 93-degree Friday afternoon, May the 23rd, 2025 in Tallahassee, Florida. Nigeri Kennedy and Texas Tech, the Red Raiders in their first Super Regional.
I'm interested to see in this game today, as Nigeri Kennedy throws a pop-up to left field to Elder, if she expands the zone more with her rise ball. 3 pitches right through the zone to Torres with her rise ball, not even having to go up to eye level. It's what we've seen from her all throughout her career, being able to work her rise ball at the letter high, eye high, expand the zone up, and then drop in the changeup down. That changeup is a pitch that she really started to work more last year in her sophomore year when she was National Player of the Year. A pitch her freshman year 2 years ago, she only threw 2% of the time. Now she's throwing that changeup 15% of the time, and her rise ball 6 out of 10 times, and that is her best chase pitch. Her rise up in the zone.
Jai Kurt drops down a bunt. Kennedy, a very good fielder, throws it low and in time over to Lauren Allred for a 2-pitch out. This is the story of the day so far. The same story yesterday. Quick outs, efficient working for Nigeri Kennedy, who wanted a few more strikeouts, but her head coach Jerry Glasgow is perfectly fine with the numbers she got. Here's Katie Dack, who had just one of the 2 Florida State hits last night. Dack takes ball 1.
It just continues to remain so impressive to me watching Nigeri Kennedy pitch for the last 3 years, that everybody knows that she's going to throw 70 to 73. Everybody knows she's going to throw her rise ball. In the past couple of years, know you're going to get that changeup. They know the scouting report on her. But that's how good her stuff is, that you can prep and scout and prepare and prepare and prepare, and you still don't have a lot of success against her. Through 79 pitches last night, only 19 balls, 6 one-pitch outs, and only 2 3-ball counts.
Rip and a miss by Dack, and it's 1-2. Katie Dack had a leadoff line drive single to right in the 7th. By far the best swing for Florida State yesterday. And it's a take high here for a rare 2-2 count. Can Florida State find a little more of those? Can they find those short, compact swings they got to beat the power of Kennedy? 2-2 for Dack. She strikes out swinging. A perfect first inning for a 2nd straight day.
Nigeri Kennedy knows how to set the tone. She has been here before in a different uniform, trying to get her team to the Women's College World Series. 3 up, 3 down in Game 2 of the Super. For kids like to use their full staff and give a lot of looks. And this senior, this lefty in the circle, is going to spin up a rise ball, a curve ball, and also mix in a changeup. But that lefty curve ball is going to work away from the left-handed hitters and into the righties, and then she can, of course, change planes going up in the zone with that rise. Saw her change be very effective against these very aggressive Texas Tech hitters that she faced yesterday.
A year ago was pitching for Hofstra. Took Hofstra to the verge of winning the regional at Missouri, but now it's Florida State, and it's Florida State's season on the line as Apsell gets the ball, to face Maya Davis. It pops the first pitch up. Michaela Edenfield lost it for a moment, and that's all it took for that ball to land out of her reach.
She's pointing to her eyes to the dugout, saying, I just didn't see it right away. It's right above her, and Beecham totally saw it, knew that that was a catchable ball, going as hard as she could, trying to communicate. Would have been an easy out.
Davis grounds the ball softly to Torres, whose throw gets away. Davis darts for second, and Maya Davis kicks off the game on a slow ground ball that should be a hit, then an error against Isa Torres.
This is why putting the ball on the ground, it just can cause so much chaos with the speed of Maya Davis. And usually a sure-handed Isa Torres' rush actually looked like she slipped on her throw as she's throwing on the run. So now speed will be at second base, but footing just not underneath her on that throw. It would have been bang-bang anyway, and a close play at one, even with a good throw.
Torres' 8th error of the year, and here's Alexa Langeliers. Take strike one. Smokey Eds is our plate umpire today. Langeliers had a wonderful game yesterday, reaching base 3 times, played a clean second. Now she squares, drops down the bunt. Apsell lobs to first, and Langeliers does her job, moving the potential first run. Davis down to third.
Good execution. We saw Texas Tech score first in yesterday's game due to an error that actually for Maya Davis is going to go down as a single and then advance to second on the error.
Texas Tech's RBI leader, Lauren Allred, takes low for ball one. Junior Allred, second team All Big 12er, and another Louisiana transfer. The top 3 in the lineup came over from Lafayette with Jerry Glasgow. Up and in, that hit maybe the bat of Allred, and it's strike 2 on a foul ball.
It hit the knob of her bat. Right at the knob.
Should say 1-1 after first pitch was low. The junior had a monster regional weekend, and Allred is hit by this one for sure. A hit by pitch for Apsell, the 9th batter she's hit this year, and Tech has him at the corners with 1 out.
To work that inside corner against Allred, not let her hands get extended, and 2 just ride way too far in. Clear hit by pitch. Now a couple of free passes with the great legs of Maya Davis to be able to get down to first and get an extra 60 feet with air, and then hit by pitch.
Well, Texas Tech has a game breaker at the plate in Alana Johnson. A home run last night, and a first pitch rip foul here.
And her home run was on a 1-2 pitch. So she was in swing mode, but got a miss over the heart of the plate. Didn't hit a corner, was up in the zone against a drop ball pitcher, and she just has so much power off of her bat. Had a monster regional last weekend in Lubbock, bringing the power to Tallahassee here in the Super.
6 for 12, 6 knocked in here in the NCAA tournament. Davis at third, Allred at first. And Johnson rips it back to the screen. Allred was in motion. Remember, in the first inning yesterday, Jerry Glasgow put on a first and third play. He had Allred steal second. Michaela Edenfield threw and threw it into center to bring in Maya Davis. So same base runners, same situation here. First and third, 1 out. And now an 0-2 count on Johnson, who takes in the dirt. Allred's on the run again, And not sure Edenfield would have thrown through anyway. It's a steal for Lauren Allred.
Yeah, and Jerry Glasgow wanting to advance Allred for a couple of reasons, of course, to get her into scoring position, but to also take off the double play. Florida State, a very quick and tidy infield, but Apsell with her rise ball, more of a fly ball pitcher, less of a ground ball pitcher.
That's a pop-up, shallow left field. Wade Kaser's there. Davis tags from third. Davis is coming home where she's safe. A lightning bolt on a shallow fly to left, and Texas Tech strikes first.
There are so many runners that get to third base that would watch this fly ball in the air, and look how it's so shallow. Wade Kaser gets behind it, perfect position, but this is all speed of Maya Davis. It's how she got on base, and now it's how she scores the first run again for Texas Tech to take an early lead. Wade Kaser again got behind this, made the throw, but it's the speed of Davis that knew she could score on that, how important it is to score early.
So for the second straight game, Texas Tech uses some small ball and an error for a first inning run, and the Red Raiders this year are 30-1 when putting up a run in the first inning. And here's Nigeri Kennedy, who can make it more than one. The last pitch she saw ended up over the right field wall last night. And Kennedy grounds this ball to Torres at short, who ends the inning. A 1-0 lead for Texas Tech. One win from the World Series.
Back in March that she suffered, so just wasn't playing at 100%. It limited the amount of plate appearances that she had offensively, and finally maybe hitting their stride here in the month of May.
Michaela Edenfield swings at the first pitch in the second and lofts a fly ball to right center. A one pitch out against Edenfield in what could be her final Florida State game. And it's the same script so far with 4 quick outs for Kennedy.
And Edenfield said after the game in the post-game press conference that they're going to be looking to hit hard ground balls, is what she said, to make the adjustment against Nigeri Kennedy against that rise ball. And we saw that late in the game in the 6th and 7th innings, that Florida State saw her a little bit better late in the game. Of course, she had thrown a lot of pitches. They've got a lot of different looks. She's trying to make that adjustment. But their goal today is going to be to try to get the top half of the rise.
Shelby McKenzie's underneath it for strike 2. McKenzie had the first of 2 hits yesterday with an infield single to second and got bumped up 1 spot in the order. Just her 15th start of the year, the freshman from Pace, Florida. She's got an extra base hit in 4 of her last 6 games. McKenzie with a slow ground ball to shortstop, and she's safe at first. Beat the throw from Haley Toney for her second infield single of the Super.
Nigeri Kennedy thought about going up and trying to stretch for it, but decided to let her shortstop get it. On the bounce, you saw her pull her glove back, and I think maybe she went for it. She cuts that hit down and makes a shorter throw, quicker throw to first base, but great hustle by McKenzie. That's why she's getting the start again, because she put the ball on the ground yesterday and did the same thing again today.
She now has 2 of Florida State's 3 hits in the Super Regional. And the Seminoles have a base runner 3 innings earlier than last night. It's a little high for Hallie Wade Kaser, 1-1. It's a senior-laden team, and there is Shelby McKenzie, a freshman. She's got 2 of the 3 hits. Wade Kaser, one of 9 seniors on the roster, and they all play for Lonnie Alameda. Several members of this team have been to the Women's College World Series, where they were the runner-up 2 years ago. Last year lost in the Super Regional round in 2 at Oklahoma. Wade Kaser to center field, right in front of the fence. Davis cleans it up.
That's gets a good swing and a hitter's count. Florida State hitters did not find themselves in hitter's counts very often yesterday against Kennedy because she continually worked from ahead. But a 2-1 count, great swing by Waycaser to barrel that up and send Davis all the way back to the wall.
Jason E. Beecham, the sophomore, stands in. Beecham was a second-team All-American as a freshman last year. Florida State freshman records, .417 with 66 RBIs. Been a drop in production this year, though still a very strong season.
Another hitter's count that Florida State finding themselves in, and the big difference is the average against Kennedy and a hitter's count is 295, much different than the average on the year hitting against her, 154. So you find yourself in a hitter's count. It does not happen very often, and those are the pitches that hitters have had the most success on against any pitcher, of course, but this is when you can capitalize.
Beecham chases. Strike two.
Did not see her curveball very much yesterday. Look at that different look that she's bringing already early in this game. Well-placed pitch. Beecham sees something down, thinking that it's going to be a hittable pitch through the zone, and it breaks away from her and a little bit down.
She calls time to talk to Travis Wilson, the Florida State third base coach.
Look at this spot that Kennedy was able to hit with her curveball. Oftentimes working these right-handed hitters up and in with her rise on their hands, expecting that Beecham swings low in the zone, and it's a curveball that moves away from her.
On 2-2, Beecham takes a changeup. It's a little low, and it's a little bit of a tight zone early from Smokey Eds.
And it always is with Smokey. That's a pitch that sometimes you're going to get depending on what home plate umpire that you have. Smokey not giving that one.
3-2. Sky high pop. Victoria Valdez does not have room. You ask for consistency in a home plate umpire, and we've seen Smokey Eds, and it is consistently a tighter zone with him behind the plate. Strike three, she went to the curve outside again for her second inning-ending K.
And
But Robin Herron and Peyton Burnham, the Razorbacks' two best pitchers, had food poisoning today, so it was a very short start for Herron. And a significant win for Ole Miss, which has been one of the biggest surprises in softball this year.
yeah, they've been playing really well here in the month of May. It's the right time to get hot. That's a team that just has had a tremendous year. Kind of a surprise team with Jamie Traxel, new coaching staff, a lot of new faces, turning that team around, getting them into supers. Huge deal.
Julia Apsell pitching to Demi Elder. Super regional round featuring 4 unseeded teams, tied for the third most ever. Supers date back to 2005. Liberty kicks off its series at Oregon tonight after beating #1 Texas A&M. Already a win for unseeded Ole Miss.
Clemson looked really good last night against Texas in Austin.
11 seed beat the 6 there. Other unseeded team, Georgia, dropped its opener today. Florida won 6-1. Gators are 1 win away from the World Series return trip. And Nebraska, the other unseeded team, which won the LSU regional without having to face LSU. 2-2 for Elder here. Their senior leader takes down and in for ball 3. Elder, Lindemuth, and Valdez. 6, 7, 8 for the Red Raiders, who got an unearned run in the first against the Hofstra transfer Julia Apsell, the redshirt senior, whose 3-2 is swung through for the first Florida State strikeout.
Texas Tech doesn't strike out a lot. They hack, they swing early in the count, so don't find themselves in 2 strike counts a lot, and they make a lot of contact. But Elder swinging at the rise ball there for the first strikeout of the day for Apsell.
Here's the freshman Bailey Lindemuth with one away. Another riser for a strike. Lindemuth 0 for 3 yesterday. Dropped down from 5 to 7 in the lineup today. Oh, 2. Courtney, thank you and welcome to Tallahassee, Florida, where Texas Tech has a 1-0 lead in game 2 of this best of 3. With an unearned run in the first inning, Alana Johnson's sac fly scored Maya Davis. And an 0-2 count here on Bailey Lindemuth, the 7-hitter against Julia Apsell, Kevin Brown, Amanda Scarborough. Florida State has not scored in this super regional. Texas Tech has all 4 runs. Terry Glasgow goes back to Nyjah Kennedy in the circle with the Red Raiders 1 win away from their first trip to the World Series. There's Lonnie Alameda, Florida State head coach, whose team must win to force game 3. Try to get to OKC for the 13th time. Lindemuth lobs one to shallow center. That falls in between Hartley and Kerr for a 2-strike base hit. Texas Tech's 2nd hit today.
Tell Julia Apsell, the senior, the lefty for Florida State, getting the call for the start today, is starting to settle into this game. She's getting some chases with her rise ball, mixing in that changeup. We saw her yesterday. She only threw 12 pitches, so they didn't see her a lot, but the senior getting a start today with the season on the line.
Against Victoria Valdez, the outstanding fielding catcher. Valdez pops a bunt up to a sliding Edenfield for the 2nd out.
When you have a rise ball pitcher in a bunt situation, oftentimes that ball is going to rise and the bunter is going to get the bottom of the ball. Exactly what Florida State wanted here. An easy popped up bunt, not a productive out. That runner stays at first, does not move herself into scoring position. It's a big 2nd out.
The freshman Haley Toney was 2 for 3 in the 9th spot yesterday. Texas Tech loves having her at the bottom of the order, sitting 357 since a 2 for 23 start to the year, and had a 2-homer game in the regionals against Mississippi State. Texas Tech's 1st inning run, Maya Davis reached on an infield single and went to 2nd on a throwing error on the play by Issa Torres. Alexa Langalier's sac bunt moved her to 3rd. Lauren Allred was hit by a pitch. And then Alana Johnson delivered a sacrifice fly to very shallow left. But Davis, one of the nation's best base runners, scored ahead of a good throw from Hallie Waycaser. Meanwhile, Nyjah Kennedy in the circle has allowed just an infield hit and struck out 2. Now 9 scoreless innings here in the Super Regional. 2-1 for Toney. That ball's up in the air to center, and Janai Kerr, and it's a scoreless 2nd inning for Apsell. 8-9-1 coming up for FSU against Nyjah Kennedy.
The NCAA Softball
National Player of the Year, a top 3 finalist for that award, again trying to go back-to-back.
8-9-1 for Florida State here, and it looks like we'll get a couple of early pinch hitters. Amaya Ross has a bat, standing in for Angeli Bueno. Ross lays down a bunt, charged at first by Allred, and Florida State is 0 for 2 on bunt attempts.
Yesterday, Nyjah Kennedy went the distance and hit a home run. So a complete game, a home run late in the game. That's her third home run in the NCAA tournament. That's why she looks a little bit different than maybe the last time that you saw her, because she's swinging the bat and still picking up the ball in the circle, throwing complete games. Only 4 strikeouts yesterday, but only threw 79 pitches in the win.
She might throw less than that at this rate. A first pitch out for Annie Potter. Pinch hitting for Christina Hartley. Yesterday, Kennedy had 6 1-pitch outs. Today she has 2. She also homered and walked in the win yesterday. Florida State's now seen her just about 4 times through the order. And Kennedy continues to dominate, and to a little bit of our surprise, Amanda, it doesn't look like Florida State has made much of an adjustment.
More foul balls I'm seeing, less swings and misses. Remember, 3 pitches and a strikeout to lead off the game against Torres last night. And I'm seeing some better foul balls. You can tell that they've seen her a little bit. First time through the order is always tough. She really dominated them the first time through when they saw her last night, but she's just that tough. That is how good her stuff is, that she can go against one of the best offenses in the country and still continue to find ways to get outs even with the same pitches. And the one thing that she is battling is a blister. Jerry Glasgow mentioned it last weekend at the regional in Lubbock on their Sunday game, trying to clinch that regional, and it's something that she will continue to battle through this weekend.
1-2 here. Isa Torres to shallow left center field. It's a 7-pitch third inning for Nyjah Kennedy. Texas Tech up 1. Ribbon on their helmets and their hats in this super regional. Down to third, a 1-pitch out for Julia Apsell against Maya Davis.
Well, and if you follow college softball, you know that this is a program that has history and tradition and legacy and culture, all led at the helm by Lonnie Alameda, who not only develops these players into great softball players, but just into women and leaders and great teammates. This program is all about culture, and it starts with her at the top.
Alexa Langeliers grounds it off Apsell. Torres does not have a play at first, and it's an infield hit for Alexa Langeliers. It's her 3rd hit of this super regional as Apsell looks to be okay.
And both teams have been so aggressive. Texas Tech has liked to hunt early in the count. Langeliers has had some great plate appearances every single time that she has stepped up in this super regional. 7 of the 11 Texas Tech hitters have had a first pitch swing when they've gotten to the plate.
Julia Apsell, an inning and a 3rd scoreless last night. The Game 2 starter, a Hofstra transfer, will throw to Lauren Allred. There's a first pitch strike taken.
Your Texas Tech, 2nd time through the order against Apsell. So important to continue to keep your foot on the gas pedal offensively, to take a little bit of pressure off of Nyjah Kennedy, and just to get more comfortable in a big game. I mean, you step onto the field wearing a Texas Tech uniform, you're thinking, oh my goodness, we're 1-1 away from the Women's College World Series.
Nyjah Kennedy looming in the hole right now. Grounded out to short her first time. Homered yesterday. 2 strikes on Allred. Soft swing down to 3rd, and Beecham, who makes the play across the way. Langeliers to 2nd on the 2nd out.
Well, and because of that culture, that tradition that Florida State and Lonnie Alameda has shown year after year after year in the postseason, you know that they're not going to go away. Lonnie Alameda going to come out and talk to Apsell, maybe make a pitching change. We'll see here. Maybe talk about Alana Johnson, who has a home run yesterday. Actually, Apsell will come out of the game.
2 2/3. She pitched well. Julia Apsell, the redshirt senior, departs the field, hoping it won't be for the last time. Florida State's going to go to Jazzy Francig. The wonderful freshman will make her super regional debut in a big spot. She comes on to face cleanup hitter Alana Johnson, who chases that first pitch, and the chase rate jumps up.
It's a totally different look with Francig in the circle because of the way that she just continually changes speeds. She can ramp it up to 70. Coach Alameda talked about how she's gained velocity in her freshman year. One of the lowest ERAs by a freshman in the country.
Jazzy Francig came to Florida State after an almost impossibly good high school career out of Rockledge, Florida. She had an ERA of .40, 1,507 strikeouts, and was the three-time Max Prep's first-team All-American. Her 1-1 is foul tipped. Already, you can see it's not always high velocity, but it is tantalizing, even for a really good hitter. And what a run she's been on. So 3 earned over the last 10 outings for Jazzy Francig. 1-2 for Johnson, who chases strike 3. 3 chases by Johnson out. It's your second day in a row seeing Nyjah Kennedy, Lonnie.
Yeah.
What adjustments are you trying to make, and what do you think of the swings?
Yeah, I mean, definitely trying to get on top of the rise ball, or if we can get the change up, stay in the change up, maybe make them work defensively, put some bunts down. Pitches and defense is keeping us in it. So yeah, one swing, a bloop and a blast, and you're on top of it. So yeah, she's good.
Lonnie, you guys have faced a lot of adversity this season, but how would you describe the fight out of your team this season?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's been kind of left hook, right hook, left hook as we've gone along through the season. And but, you know, I mean, this is a really tight group and led by 9 seniors. And so I think we're really good at, you know, giving hugs when we need to, and then getting out here and fight when we need to, and kind of separating that a little bit, you know. So they got a lot of fight in the dugout right now, and they're for each other. And yeah, so, and I'm very grateful for my side of it too, because they've been in my hip pocket the whole time.
Lonnie, we always appreciate your time. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Lonnie Alameda at Florida State. They've had to fight through a lot. She's had to fight through as much as anybody. Late February, was diagnosed with stage 3 triple-negative breast cancer. Doctors have reassured her there is a high success rate in treating this, but it's a heck of a treatment program. She's got 10 Mondays down and 2 to go, her first round of treatments, and then a second cycle that's scheduled to begin in June. Gonna have a more potent drug she was telling us about, which goes by the Red Devil, which is going to intensify side effects. Those are scheduled to end in late August. You can read more about her story on ESPN.com. Andrea Adelson wrote a wonderful piece. But Lonnie Alameda has attacked this with the same incredible spirit and joy she always has. As Janai Kerr swings through strike 2 against Nyjah Kennedy. There is a photo of Lonnie, diagnosed in February. She told the team the week after her first treatment, which was March 17th, told them the week after, and the team released the news shortly after that. This is in the left center for Davis, and out number 1. The team has rallied around her in April. It's an amazing video Florida State shared with us. All the players got together as Lonnie's hair started to fall out, so the team decided, we're going to take it for you. They shaved her hair, they brought out the scissors. Michaela Edenfield was the last to go. There's an embrace between coach and catcher. And Lonnie said, what's been amazing is so many people have lived a lot of their journey through mine. People are excited to share their stories and live their journey through me. It's another human element to raise connection. Connection is a really good word for what Lonnie Alameda and what Florida State softball are all about.
Absolutely. And Isa Torres even said, we know how much she pours into this program, so we don't just want to do it for ourselves. We always want to do it for her. We want to win for her, playing for her, and something that makes Lonnie Alameda a little bit uncomfortable because she always is that person to find something outside of herself to rally her team around, but now her team is playing for her this season.
Katie Dack takes inside. Lonnie and Florida State have seized the moment to try to help others too. They've done some fundraising around her diagnosis. She said, I'm being celebrated, but there are a lot of people that don't have family and don't have the support like I have. And she's really proud of that folks have been able to, through donations, get maybe an Uber to get to a spa, a hotel room if you need a night. She said, if I have to be in this situation, it's the coolest possible version of it to be in. Her program motto for years has been all in, and this community is all in with her in this fight, and she's found herself all in with the fight of many others. On a 3-2, Dack pops one up and a shallow center for Langoliers. Another first two batters retired for Nyjah Kennedy.
And one more thing, in her chemo treatments on Monday that she goes every Monday morning at this point, she'll end up scouting, and a lot of players or even Kaylee Rafter will come and visit her and do scouting reports together. And at this point, everybody who is there is rallying around Florida State and her and asking about the games and following the team. It's a different way of doing things for somebody who pours so much into this team, into preparation, and to make everybody the best version of themselves on this team. Now everybody is getting a chance to be there for her.
1-1 to Michaela Edenfield. Grounds the ball to third. One base runner in 4 innings for Florida State. Nyjah Kennedy continues to dominate. During Nyjah Kennedy, back-to-back starts for you and back-to-back days. What do you have to do yesterday to get her blister ready for today, and what are you seeing from her in the circle?
She's just a tenacious competitor. I asked her this morning at breakfast, I said, what do you want to do? There's 2 ways we can play this. We can wait till game 3, or we can roll you back out there. She said, give me the ball, coach. I want the ball. And I said, okay, let's see how your finger feels. If it feels good at the park, I think we'll give you the ball. And I'm scared to tell her no.
Jerry, you have a love of offense and preparation, will do anything for this team to get them where they need to be. Where does that love and passion of offense come from for you?
Well, it's, you know, I like to win, but as a hitting coach like you like to think you give your kids the best chance to perform and be successful. And it's a hard game. Offense is hard, and you see in this game we're struggling. And, you know, you just don't want to look back. At the end of the season, you don't want to look back and know you left something out that you could have did to help your kids. And it's a long summer when you lose, no matter how you lose. And when you go home at the end of the year, you want to know you did every single thing you could do for your kids. And at least you can get through the summer that way.
Jerry, thanks for your time. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Tallahassee Community College. The way he teaches hitting, man, it's just different than most.
Well, and he drove almost 18 hours from Lubbock to Tallahassee. Like, who does that? But if you know Jerry Glasgow and the way that he loves offense and preparing his team, he is truly willing to do anything for them, including lugging these machines around everywhere they go. He has done it at all the different stops, all the different places and levels that he has coached at. This is at Tallahassee Community College, where they brought the machines. They practiced with them this morning, yesterday, the day before, and it's all to be able to prepare them and get these machines in different speeds and different spins and movements to be able to get them where they need to be offensively to score runs.
The drive from Lubbock to Tallahassee is 1,178 miles. And Jerry made the drive 17 hours and 47 minutes with 2 stops in between. That's it, only 2. Kennedy takes a strike against Jazzy Francic. The 2 stops, by the way, gas in Longview, Texas, and then gas in a couple of hours at a hotel in Mobile, Alabama. Will he drive them back? That remains to be seen. But if Texas Tech makes it out of this series, it's a lot shorter of a drive from Lubbock to Oklahoma City. 2-2 for Nyjah Kennedy.
Well, and he told us he does things a little bit different. He uses machines, not tees. That's why they're so important for him, because it's just an instrumental part of preparation and how he goes about teaching hitting. So they change the location of the pitch, the direction of the break, they control the break to make them do things mechanically, whatever he wants them to do, just by changing the speed and direction of the machines.
Jazzy Francic looking like a machine on the mound. She struck out Johnson and Kennedy now in relief.
That's a big deal. Another big deal is Jazzy Francic settles into this game, worked Johnson all the way, then goes inside with a drop ball to Nyjah Kennedy, the home run hitter in Kennedy, gets the K.
So one away, here's Demi Elder, who struck out against Julia Apsell her first time. And Francic has looked really sharp. Apsell 2 2/3, 3 hits, an unearned run, and a strikeout. Texas Tech has 2 solo homers and 2 unearned runs here in the Super Regional.
Just amazing how confident that Jazzy Francic has looked. Throwing a lot of strikes right away. Sometimes, you know, Kevin, it takes a pitcher a little bit of time to get comfortable in a game. You see them come out and struggle to throw strikes, to have command, but Francic has been very comfortable in this relief role, or at least it appears that she's been comfortable with the way that she's owned a relief role this season as a freshman.
Without a true ace, Florida State has jumped from a 3.71 ERA to 2.23. 150th in the nation last year. This season, they're 6th. 2-2 for Francic, who's been their best pitcher. The 6th best ERA in the nation. And they're the only team in the country with 4 pitchers who've thrown 60 or more innings and won 9 or more games. Ashton Danley, the starter yesterday, and Annabelle Widra were combined 24 and 5.
And such a transition from what you used to see from Florida State, who would have a dominant ace, oftentimes with a really spinny curveball, like Jessica Burrows and Lacey Waldrop and Megan King, Kat Sandercock. I mean, the list just goes on and on of Florida State aces. But in the last few years, since Sandercock's graduation, even her last year, going more to a staff.
Lonnie Alameda thinks this is going to be the way that softball trends. A little bit more like baseball, where you're not seeing as many complete games. There's a little more emphasis on what pitching back-to-back days does to the body, does to the arm. The teams pitch well this weekend, they just haven't hit yet. Francic's 3-2 is sprayed out of play by the senior leader Elder.
Jazzy is really unique because she came in with a lot of different pitches, and Lonnie wanted to just be able to focus and really narrow in on a true curve. She came in with a lot of different types of curveballs. She's a pitcher that has called pitches on her own oftentimes in her career before she got here.
It's a ground ball, gets past Francic to second. Potter didn't cleanly field it, and Demi Elder is aboard with 1 out.
And defensively is where I've seen Florida State look the most nervous, because their defense had been such a strong point in their season, especially at the end of the season leading up to getting to the NCAA tournament, but just not playing balls cleanly. And really, that's where I've seen them look a little bit more on their heels at times this weekend.
It's a base hit off of Francic and off of Potter. So that won't go down as an error, but Florida State has made 4 of them, plus a couple of other plays that could have been made. In fact, right now the Seminoles have a combined 3 hits and runs this weekend, and they've committed 4 errors. Reagan Jennings is up as a pinch hitter for Bailey Lindemuth.
I was going to write that down as an error at second base, but we go down as a hit.
Could have been 5 errors. It is 4 for the weekend, 1 today. Yesterday, by the way, was the first time Florida State committed 3 errors in a game in which they were shut out in 8 years. May 2017, when they went to Oregon at the end of the regular season. If it seemed like a very atypical Florida State game, it was 8 years atypical. Strike 2 to Jennings. Reagan Jennings, 400 hitter off the bench, 435 on base. Very little power, but gets on a ton. This Texas Tech team was the 2nd highest scoring in the Big 12, 6.4 runs per game. Top 3 in Big 12 teams in average on base and slugging. They have power, they have speed. And they have a 1-0 lead in this 4th inning. Jennings to short. Torres cannot field the hop. It's another infield miscue for Florida State.
They're usually so sure-handed, especially on the left side. You have 2 sophomores on the left side that will likely play next to each other for 4 years, and Torres just lets this hop eat her up. A lot of mishit balls that have a lot of spin off the bats that these fielders have just not been able to field cleanly, and now Texas Tech is in business with 2 on.
Jerry Glasgow is going to push another button here and send up a pinch hitter for Victoria Valdez. That's Issa Torres' 2nd error of the game. And Logan Holloman is a 375 hitter with a 434 on base. Another great pinch hit option for the Red Raiders. That's the first 2-error game of the season for Issa Torres. And Lindenmuth will also return to run for Jennings at first.
Now batting number 7, Logan Holloman.
In a game where Nyjah Kennedy's doing what she does, 1 run could be enough. 2 would feel like a whirlpool. Down and away to Holloman. And here comes Lonnie Alameda after ball 1.
Talking to her defense about making a play. Great time for Jerry Glasgow to talk to his hitters and getting his full coaching staff involved with them as well. Constantly coaching. You have a head coach who's a pitching coach on one side, a head coach who's a hitting coach on the other side. Understanding how big of a moment this is for Texas Tech with 2 on and less than 2 outs, in a moment to capitalize and try to extend this lead with Kennedy in the circle.
Jerry Glasgow brought his whole team together an inning ago outside the 3rd base line. He brings a bunch of them together here. He can probably seize the moment here, sense the moment in the way that Florida State can. Holloman tries to slap through strike 1.
Well, and he pulled them together whenever Apsell was in the circle. Likely the conversation was to lay off of the rise ball as they were starting to chase it up in the zone. But now you have an off-speed pitcher who's more down in the zone with Francic. So it's tough to go up against a pitching staff like this from Florida State, who has so many different looks. It's actually going to be a timing violation on the pinch hitter Holloman. That will be a strike on her, so a 1-2 count.
She was not in the box, and Smokey Ed signaled it clearly. So on 1-2, that ball slapped out of play. Logan Holloman had a pinch hit infield single in the second inning of the regional final last week. Just loaded the bases. An infield single would likely load the bases here. Jerry Glasgow called that hit last weekend the most important play of the entire game. Holloman takes wide, and it's 2-2. Elder and Jennings, the runners, on 2-2.
Doing a good job of spoiling some pitches here, making Francic work. 28 pitches thrown in relief. She just came in the last inning, got the last hitter out of Johnson, a strikeout with runner at second base.
Where would you try to beat her, the way she's trying to slap the ball?
I would try to go toward the outside corner to feed into the left side for a force out at third, which is what Francic is trying to do here, but she just continues to foul it off. You're showing her that side over and over again, and I want to say try to go in with a drop in, but she's going to pull it to the right side, but you want to try to feed the defense on the left side to get that force out and keep that runner from third base.
So it'll be the 8th pitch to Holloman, and Edenfield asks for time. A 1-0 Texas Tech lead in the game and series. Holloman strikes out swinging.
Francic is just so spinny. This time she's going to spin a rise ball more on the outside corner, up out of the zone, and she gets the chase. Holloman had shown really good patience on pitches that moved away from her, but she's able to chase that pitch up in the zone that caught the corner, and she went right with it.
So now Haley Toney, who had a phenomenal regional final, checks her swing on ball 1. Smokeyets did appeal late to Carlos Guzman, who confirmed no swing. Jerry Glasgow thinks Haley Toney could be the best shortstop in the country by the end of her career. Freshman from Magnolia, Texas, who made 9 errors in her first 25 games and has not since. He said she may have been the best shortstop in the Big 12 the second half of the year. Opposite field power and a couple of home runs on Sunday. Toney with a big swing and a blast into the batting cages on 2-0.
I like that aggressiveness in a 2-0 count by the freshman, looking to hit in that hitter's count. A day game just has such a different feel than the night game that we had last night, doesn't it? Thinking about that today with such an early start time. We finished pretty late last night. Quick turnaround to have a 3 p.m. start time today.
Well, this crowd is not alive, in part because of that, part because Florida State only has 1 hit. Toney pops it out of play. It's 2-2.
Just constantly changing speeds, Francic is. And with that opposite field approach that Toney is so good at taking, it's what she needs right now with 2 strikes. Thinking about driving something to the left side.
2 of the best freshmen at their respective positions in the country in a pivotal game 2. Toney grounds the ball to third. Beecham cannot pick the short hop. An infield hit and 2 infield errors have loaded the Texas Tech bases.
Florida State is just struggling with these hops that they're getting. These balls that they're making errors on are not well hit. In fact, they're really soft contact with a lot of spin off the bat, and just have not seen the glove work be there for them from any position really across the infield.
Maya Davis, who's reached base in 19 in a row, bats with the bases loaded. Davis is nearly hit by ball one from Prancic. Texas Tech 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position in the Super Regionals. And that ground ball is fouled.
And swinging away here. See her early in the game slap to be a leadoff hitter to try to find a way to get on base and use her speed, but been swinging away more as of March. Jerry Glasgow told her at the end of March, quit slapping. I want you to swing away and hit for a little bit more power. And now she's competitive with Nyjah Kennedy, the leading home run hitter on the team with home runs.
The 1-1. Davis to the right side, into the glove of Potter. Lady Luck shines on the Seminoles. Carolina has not been there since the 1990s. You've got Liberty searching for its first berth. They'll play at Oregon later tonight. A 1-0 Tech lead for Nyjah Kennedy's Red Raiders, and Nyjah's ahead 0-2 on Shelby McKenzie. She's got the only hit of the game today. She had the only hit for Florida State through the first 6 innings yesterday. McKenzie is 2 for 4 in the Super Regional. Her teammates are a combined 1 for 32.
Still, we're in the top of the 5th inning, and Nyjah Kennedy has only thrown 47 pitches. Efficient again, finding herself another 0-2 count.
Here's that other 0-2. Lonnie Alameda last night thought you got to pick one or the other. She was up and into the righties, change up a little more. She asked the question, do we have to get more strategic with the changeup? Nothing's worked so far. Drilled to third, and Lindemuth, maybe the hardest hit ball of the regional, the Super Regional for Florida State, and it's a line drive out.
McKenzie has had great at-bats against Nyjah Kennedy, a freshman going up against last year's National Player of the Year, and Lindemuth just right place, right time at the hot corner. And up and grab that.
Just the third first pitch ball of the game. That's low to Wakecaser. 12 out of 15 first pitch strikes for Nyjah Kennedy. Wakecaser drills it to left. That ball will get to the fence. Wakecaser's on her way to second and in there safely. Florida State's first extra base hit of this Super Regional.
Ready for that rise ball up and in her hands. Went to work from the previous at-bats, knowing that Nyjah Kennedy wants to get up and in there and try to jam her with the rise, and Wakecaser is on plane and on time to rip a double. A couple of well-hit balls off of Kennedy in this inning to start it out.
Addie DeLong takes over as the pinch runner in the tying run. The 39th plate appearance of the Super Regional, the first extra base hit for FSU, and now Beecham with the first pitch foul pop that will land out of play, out of reach of a charging Allred and Langoliers.
I think Nyjah Kennedy needs to start changing speeds more. To me, Florida State looks like they're more on her rise ball, and she has that incredible changeup, and that curveball that she threw to Beecham in her last at-bat was very effective on the outer half.
Beecham just demolishes this foul. That's up into the tree. And the crowd is ignited on a foul ball. They're just looking for something to cheer about. Even with an 0-2 count, will she go curveball again? A changeup that is called low.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe this isn't called strike. No words for where that pitch is.
Beecham fouls it away.
Went to the changeup again against Beecham. This time she fouled it off and looked more on time with it. Beecham is seeing a little bit of everything from Kennedy. What she has not seen is that curveball that she struck out on in the second inning.
Couple of former All-Americans. Beecham got one down and away and fouled it off of Valdez. That's off the right shoulder of Victoria Valdez. One of 5 Louisiana transfers who came to Lubbock with Jerry Glasgow. She started every game since March 15th. Not a great offensive year, but Big 12 all-defensive team catcher. Jerry Glasgow loves her and what she does behind the plate. And she's back in the crouch on 1 and 2 to Beecham. Tying run at second is DeLong. Way high, it's off the glove of Valdez, and DeLong gets down to third. One pitch after she was drilled in the shoulder, Valdez couldn't handle this high riser.
I like the pitch call to expand the zone with the rise ball. Beecham has fouled off everything. The change, the rise up and in, and the curve. I'd go back to the change.
She does, and misses it low.
This is a phenomenal at-bat by Beecham.
An at-bat that may have been extended because of that missed changeup strike. And then Kennedy quickly turns around and delivers another changeup for strike 3.
I was just going to say a changeup low isn't going to get her. A changeup more up in the zone, which goes against everything that you talk about when throwing a changeup could get her. And it got her a huge, massive strikeout by Kennedy for the second out.
Amaya Ross takes high. Boy, Kennedy wasted no time. That was almost a quick pitch, how fast she got it and threw it. She dictated the tempo. She's dictated the Super Regional. Ross pops it out of play.
There's always a high chance, too, with this very great Florida State coaching staff that they have the changeup picked for Kennedy. Wouldn't surprise me in the least with the better swings they're taking.
Fires one in there for strike 2.
And with how they're seeing that pitch down. If you know that it's a changeup, you see it start down, you know that it's going to go even further down, taking some close pitches.
Kennedy 1 strike away from escaping the 5th. Remember, the 5th inning last night was the only rally for Florida State. They got 2 on and 1 out. Kennedy struck out the 8th batter to end that inning. Ross hangs in there.
You have to wonder, too, maybe they've picked the changeup. Maybe her blister is, she's feeling it late in this game after throwing the complete game last night. 79 pitches and 64 pitches in this game so far.
6th pitch to Ross. Fought off, foul again.
Just doesn't seem that that rise ball has the swing and miss effect the second time through the order against these hitters. The way that we're used to seeing that rise ball get so many swing throughs.
She struck out just 3, but the 3rd was 1 batter ago. Another 1-2. Ross takes it. 2-2. Florida State has its first runner on third base of the Super Regional. And Ross with a fly ball to left. And that runner will be stranded at third base. A Kennedy changeup gets her out of a nervy as Alexa Langeliers chases. Jerry Glasgow talked to us about getting the job. It started with a call about his daughter, Tara Archibald, who's the pitching coach here, who was at Eastern Illinois. Yeah. She had been a shortlisted name initially. She'd been in the mix for a couple of big softball jobs. So Jerry Glasgow talked to some folks about her. And then about a week and a half later, he gets a call asking, would you be interested? And the next morning he said, I interviewed. And he believed that he could get a top class to Lubbock because, as he said, hey, I got the #1 recruiting class to Louisiana in 2021. And he felt like with Texas Tech's backing, and they have a lot of NIL money, they've made no bones about that. He said, I have as good a chance as anybody in the country to get great players.
When they had felt like Texas Tech couldn't get top recruits in the past, whether it be an incoming freshman or whether it be trying to get somebody from the portal, and they asked him, can you get a high-profile athlete to Texas Tech? And he said, yes, I can. And then comes Nyjah Kennedy to Texas Tech, along with many others, and the rest is history.
Ground ball down to shortstop for Torres, and one away. Everybody's probably heard the story by now about Nyjah Kennedy and her recruitment. The Texas Tech Matador Club, which is the NIL program there, signed her to a historic $1 million deal. They get 5 transfers from Louisiana, Alana Johnson from Washington. Is it paying off? Well, they haven't trailed in the last 58 innings. So it looks like it's paying off. Lauren Allred. And it's still kind of an uncomfortable topic for folks, but Texas Tech and Nyjah Kennedy have been out there. There's an article you can read on ESPN.com from Dave Wilson just last week. Nyjah Kennedy being the first $1 million college softball athlete. Some people will say there are always going to be the folks who don't like NIL being in the game and who are uncomfortable with that kind of money being thrown around. And some people are going to say, well, it's legal. Texas Tech has chosen to invest the resources into the program, and here they are because of it. And Lonnie Alameda, we asked her about Nyjah Kennedy. Asked, you ever thought you'd see a $1 million softball player? She said no, but I hope she's raising the ceiling for the next one that comes along.
Well, and you think about, why do you do that? You do that for attention for the softball program, for attention that it's brought for the entire Texas Tech University. It's been a huge deal in our sport and for them.
Smoked into the Tech dugout, 2-2, maybe back to the on-deck circle in Johnson.
I think that the key is, too, you do that to make it to the Women's College World Series. That's what they're playing for the first time in program history. That's why, that's the goal at the beginning of the season, is to make it there with this roster and this pitcher to have a chance to play on the biggest stage in our college sport.
First 5 players in this lineup are transfers. Davis, Langeliers, and Allred were with Glasgow at Louisiana. Part of the reason we felt like this was the right time to make the move, he excelled at Louisiana really without NIL backing, and just bet on himself that with a huge amount of NIL, he could build one of the elite programs in the nation. Two and 2 for Allred against Francic. On the ground to second. Potter fumbles it. It's another Florida State error. The Tony ground ball was ruled an infield single last inning. This, we assume, will be the 3rd error of the game.
And these bobbles are just contagious. Not well hit balls, so as an infielder, you have a lot of time to think about it, thinking, don't make a mistake, don't make a mistake. You've seen Torres do it, you've seen Beecham do it. And there should be more errors on the board for Florida State, but some of those have been ruled a hit. No idea why.
Well, the Women's College World Series returns to Oklahoma City next week. The action begins Thursday at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, live on ESPN. For more information on the 2025 Women's College World Series, visit ncaa.com, the official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. Pinch hit here for the cleanup hitter, Alana Johnson.
I think it's because Johnson just did not see the ball well off of Francic at all. Struck out against her, threw her a ton of curveballs on the outside corner. Didn't seem like she was seeing it at all. And bringing a lefty for a righty. Lefties have more success against Francic.
Yep. Up in 8 for 39 with 2 walks on the year. The freshman from Alvin, Texas. There goes Allred. It's a hit and run. Jerry Glasgow loves to push buttons. He ran a hit and run play yesterday, and he said it was probably pretty stupid to put it on because every coach in America knew I was going to put it on. But he said in the same breath, I don't want to be timid. And I want my ball club to know I'm going to be aggressive in the big moment. Softly hit on the ground. Beecham goes to second. Gets the lead runner there.
Just so much soft contact. I mean, maybe we can rack your brain. Has Texas Tech even hit the ball to the outfield in this game? I see a lot of ground balls to the infield. Maybe a couple of times. It just, they're not driving the ball. They're not on time. A lot of hits off the end of the bats, creating a lot of spin off of their bats as well. And now with one of the hitters that can drive the ball to the outfield and over the wall, the leading home run hitter on the team coming up in Kennedy, Coach Alameda's going to come out and talk to her defense.
I've got 3 to the outfield. The sac fly to shallow left.
Yeah.
The Tony fly out in the second, and then Linda Muth's half swing single, which was just a little tiny pop up to shallow center. So none of the last 13 batters have hit the ball to the outfield. Now Maya Davis could have, but she lined out to second.
Yes. And Francic has just done such a good job to come in and settle this team down, give these Texas Tech hitters a different look. Julie Apsell had a quality start. Then in relief comes Francic, and she's just been spinning the heck out of it and rolling ground balls.
Kennedy homered in her 3rd at-bat yesterday. How would you pitch her here if you're Francic?
Spinner low and away, not up and away with that curveball, and try to sneak one in, but you have to be careful if you go inside against her.
That ball smoked to third. It eats up Beecham. It's into left field. And Johnson, who returned to the game, can only make it as far as second.
That's a hard hit ground ball by Kennedy on that inside pitch. And you see how far back that Beecham is playing, back behind the bag. Another hop that eats up a Florida State defender. Tough play to make with how far back she was behind third base, but that was a well-hit ball.
Kayla Garcia pinch runs for Kennedy. That is scored an E5. Here's Demi Elder.
With the way that Florida State was swinging the bat in their last half inning offensively, you just have to come through here. It just feels like a have-to moment. They're making adjustments. Kennedy may be wearing down a little bit with her blister. Even one more run to make it 2-0 feels very big in this game when you have Kennedy in the circle.
Texas Tech is 0 for 4. Runners on today. Beg your pardon, that should be a lot more than 0 for 4, but they have struggled in those moments, Tech. Check swing, did she go? Carlos Guzman says no, it's 3-1.
That outside pitch that just floats up against these lefty hitters that's off speed has been tough for the lefty Texas Tech hitters to pick up out of her hand.
Well, there's 1 for 11. Florida State's 0 for 4 runners on. Tech is 1 for 11 runners on base in the game. A 3-1 for Elder. Ripped on the ground and up the middle. There's a collision between runner and fielder at short. So Johnson's going to be waved in to score. Alana Johnson crashed into Isa Torres, who was in her way in the running lane. Jerry Glasgow wisely waved her home. She scored anyway, and it's 2-0 Tech.
Even despite running into Torres and getting caught up here, as Torres is just going for a play on the ball, ran right into her. Glasgow sending her the whole way, knowing that he would have obstruction on her side. And Johnson, a lot of time to score. What a slow developing play. I thought that ball would have gotten in a little bit faster. Coach Alameda wants to talk about it to see if Torres could have potentially made a play on that, or if it should have been runner interference. And so the umpires are going to be talking about this.
Well, Addie DeLong had trouble coming up with the ball in center. She just came into the game defensively this inning.
Florida State is challenging the ruling on the field.
Now Florida State is going to take a shot here and use one of its 2 challenges in the 5th.
This is just bad timing and bad luck for Isa Torres with where she started out being positioned in the baseline and then her immediate first step. She is so quick that if she wouldn't have run into Johnson, maybe she'd have a play on the ball. Maybe not, though. Every different angle that I see, I have a different opinion on that. But just where Torres was positioned to start the play, she just right into the baseline. More and more I see it, I think it would have been out of her reach. Every different angle, I truly have a different opinion about it.
Look at DeLong, too, who bobbles the ball in center. You mentioned this slow developing play and then doesn't throw it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure where to throw it. Nobody was communicating to her. You could tell she picked the ball up and was like, where do I need to go? And I think she could have thrown her out, but then the question would be if that obstruction would have caused her to be thrown out at home, and it would have been under umpire discretion if that would have been the case, if she would have been quote unquote out with the throw.
After review, the ruling on the field is upheld. There is no obstruction.
Well, no interference on the runner.
Yeah.
So Texas Tech leads it 2-0.
That's
which
a
feels
huge
like
run.
a mountain to climb now.
Huge run. What a clutch hit by Demi Elder, who has been a leader on this team ever since she's come back from her injury. They have just been on fire. A vocal leader for this team, and now she steps up and gets another hit in this game.
It's an RBI single. No error on the play against DeLong, though you could have argued 4-1. But we're not going to argue about any of those. Fouled away by Bailey Lindemuth, with Michaela Garcia at second and now Elder at first. Jerry Glasgow does not think it's a coincidence that Texas Tech is 26-3 since Demi Elder returned. The numbers are good. They're not overwhelming. Their on-base percentage and slugging are very good, but said she just finds a way to win. She leads this team. And she's led this team to a 2-0 lead. They've got another run. They've got Nyjah Kennedy. And they've got 6 outs to get. Hits. And they immediately pop up a bunt. Annie Potter for the first out. It's the poise of this program, the heart, the character, the fight. We always seem to see it from Florida State. It's credit to Texas Tech on one hand, and it's very surprising on the other to see what Florida State has not done and what they have done in this Super Regional. Nyjah Canady had that 5th inning trouble yesterday and then threw an 8-pitch 6. She got the first out on the first pitch here. And Torres smokes the ball to left, right at Elder. 3 pitches, 2 outs. Sunday Night Baseball this week, the series finale between the Dodgers and the Mets in an NLCS rematch. Sunday night, 7 Eastern, 6 Central on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Radio. Coverage begins an hour earlier with Baseball Tonight, Sunday Night Countdown.
I mean, there are just better swings off of Canady right now. To me, this is an ending to the game where she's just really going to have to fight. Not having her best stuff, Florida State has seen her a lot. That combination has made for better swings off of her, and her defense being in the right place at the right time. I mean, even that swing by Kerr, you can tell just right on that pitch on the outer half. Rise ball not getting up enough.
Tonight, Kerr is now 0 for 5 against her this Super Regional. 1-1. Smacks a ground ball to second. Langeliers plays the hop. Yesterday it was an 8-pitch 6th. Today it's a 6-pitch 6th. Winner of this one, Ole Miss won 9-7 at Arkansas today. So we've already had a couple of upsets by seed line or by the road team. Clemson won at Texas yesterday as well. Plenty more softball coming up today. We are not even halfway done with day 2 of the Super Regionals. 1-1 for Victoria Valdez.
I think this has just been such a tough matchup. We talked about it several times in this Super, but Texas Tech with Nyjah Canady in the circle easily, if they played to the way the potential, the way you thought they were going to play out in February and March, easily could have been a top 8 seed.
Valdez pops up to Torres, and we check in with Matt Schick. Alabama going for that 5-peat. Thank you, Matt. Or Oklahoma going for that 5-peat. Alabama did beat Oklahoma in a series earlier this year down at Tuscaloosa. I'll head to Norman and try to pull a major upset. Nebraska and Tennessee following that. 7 Eastern on ESPN2. Then Texas trying to stay alive against Clemson. And the last game tonight, 10 Eastern ESPNU. A couple of 50-win teams, Liberty and Oregon. Haley Tony with a base hit today. Batting against Jazzy Francic. 68th pitch in relief is high.
You know, I think there were a couple of things that, well, a lot of things that people wanted to see when the bracket came out, but 2 specifics that they were looking at is who would be paired up at regionals with Jordy Ball in Nebraska, and who would be paired up with Texas Tech in Super Regionals, and what seed would Texas Tech get. It was even questionable at times that they'd get the top 16.
Tony is out at first for the second out. Also tonight, game 2 of the Western Conference Final on ESPN and ESPN Plus as the Stars look to take a 2-0 lead against Connor McDavid and the Oilers. 8 Eastern on ESPN. Coverage begins with a point at 7:30. You know, there is the potential for Jordy Ball versus Oklahoma in the first round of the Women's College World Series. The Tennessee-Nebraska winner and the Oklahoma-Alabama winner will meet up any of those 4 potential matchups. Well, that's TV dynamite right there. How lucky some of us will be to be in Oklahoma City for that. Should be another really intriguing, thrilling World Series field. And the chance for a first-time World Series participant from half of the Super Regionals. Clemson's never been there. Texas Tech, Ole Miss or Arkansas, Liberty. South Carolina hasn't been there since the 1990s. No one went away. And you got the mainstays, Oklahoma and Bama. Florida, which beat Georgia earlier today. See if UCLA can come back in its series in Columbia. Oregon trying to get back there and reach the World Series under Missy Lombardi for the first time. 1-2 to Maya Davis. A little slapper out of play.
A lot of questions. It makes for a really exciting end of the day today, where we still have several games to get going, and then tomorrow is going to be jam-packed too. I feel some game 3s coming on this weekend. Feel it in my bones.
Chance this series is over in game 2 before some game 1s. To second, it's Hartley. And it's the last chance for Florida State. The heart of the order needs 2 to stay alive. Tying run, trying to keep this amazing Florida State career going. Her personality has broken through nationally with not only her big swings, but her amazing ornate makeup. She's become a huge fan favorite here in Tallahassee, across the whole country. And if Katie Dack can get on, Michaela Edenfield's going to have a shot to tie it. But right now it's in the hands of the senior Dack against Texas Tech's junior Nigeri Kennedy. A 2-0 Texas Tech lead. And Dack is ahead 2-0.
Well, and potentially 3 seniors coming up in this inning. Start with Katie Dack and then Edenfield and potentially Waycaser if somebody reaches and she gets a chance.
The senior from Parker, Colorado, Katie Dack. She's ahead 3-0.
Look at this patience. Kennedy did not get the call on the first pitch. That was a pitch that, in my opinion, should have been a strike. And now Dack showing a lot of patience.
She walks on 4 pitches. Playing for what was her dream school, Katie Dack. She will give Michaela Edenfield a shot as the tying run in the 7th inning with nobody out. The first Florida State walk of the game sets up the redshirt senior, who's been nicknamed Area 51 for the combination of her jersey number and her power because of the balls she can hit into orbit. Here we go. Rips the first one out of play.
Remember a lot of history between these 2 players. They played travel ball together, so Edenfield caught Nigeri Kennedy.
Only 2 Seminoles ever, Jesse Warren and Maddie O'Brien, have hit more home runs than Michaela Edenfield, who takes strike 2 and finds herself in the hole against her old travel ball teammate.
How about Kennedy still throwing 73 deep into this game and fighting that blister?
An 0-2. Oh yeah. It's hit into right center field. A deep Davis couldn't make the catch. Edenfield's on the way to second. And the tying runs are in scoring position. No doubles defense turns into a double.
She's just gonna fight. This is an 0-2 swing, battling off a pitch up and in her hands, and Davis was playing so deep, respecting the power of Edenfield, and then it just falls in front of her. Davis is so fast, did everything that she could, laying out for that, and it falls. And now this is the best opportunity by far that Florida State has had in this game. Great effort by Davis to lay out for that, doing everything that she could, but it's a 2-strike hit for Edenfield, and she gets to second base.
The first time today, Florida State has had 2 runners on base simultaneously. Just the second time in 14 innings. And Jerry Glasgow and Tara Archibald complete an all-staff meeting in the circle with Nyjah Kennedy. Michaela Edenfield said, I feel like people are going to remember me as that bold but culture-led person, and I think that's a good way to be remembered. Maybe they'll remember a little more from this Florida State team. It's the freshman Shelby McKenzie, who has had perhaps the best at-bats against Kennedy. An infield single and then a smoked line drive to third. 1-0 pitch. McKenzie rips it down the line in left field. That's out of play for strike 1.
McKenzie's at-bats have not looked intimidated at all for a freshman going up against Player of the Year, an All-American, and just a dominating elite pitcher in Kennedy.
The 1-1 pitch is a changeup. 79 pitches yesterday for Nyjah Kennedy. She's been efficient, but on the whole, it's 160 pitches thrown in less than 24 hours. McKenzie with a chopper to shortstop, brings in a run. Texas Tech gets the out, but the tying run Edenfield gets to third. Florida State is on the board and 60 feet away from tying this game.
First run that they've scored against Kennedy in this series, and McKenzie has just done such a good job of finding the top half of the ball in so many of her at-bats against a rise ball pitcher in Kennedy.
Florida State's re-entering Hallie Waycaser here. Would come out for a pinch runner after her double in the 5th. They're also going to pinch run for Edenfield. And listen to the roar for Michaela Edenfield in what she hopes will not be her final game in Tallahassee. Maddie Fry is into the game as the tying run. Waycaser the go-ahead run. Swings away, pops the ball up, foul ground. Allred's got it for out number 2. A first pitch out, and Texas Tech is 1 out away from the World Series. And it's in the hands of Jason E. Beecham. She struck out twice today.
I'll tell you what, that last at-bat that she had off of Kennedy, she saw everything, fouled off several pitches. It was by far her best at-bat off of her. You know that's in the back of Kennedy's mind right now with how tough of an out she was to get that strikeout.
Zipped in there for strike 1.
And that was actually supposed to be a rise ball. You could tell with how Kennedy finished, but it got the bottom of the zone and she gets the call, which that bottom of the zone has not been called.
The freshman All-American, now in her sophomore year, Jason E. Beecham trying to keep hope alive. She chases strike 2. And Texas Tech is a strike away. They have never come anywhere close to this. They need 1 strike. Popped up to Allred, and that's gonna do it! Nyjah Kennedy and Texas Tech are on to the World Series for the first time.
there's nothing else like celebrating this super regional moment with your teammates, especially when it's something that's never been done before, never been done in a long amount of time. And for Florida State, it just felt like maybe this is going to be the turning point in this super regional, that they were going to get back in it, tie up this game, give themselves a chance to win it. But Nigeri Kennedy is the biggest buzzsaw there is maybe in college softball right now, leading her team to the World Series for the first time in history.
This is what the folks in Lubbock were hoping for a softball program that had no history of sustained success. 6 NCAA tournaments. They put in some serious investment into this program. It started with Jerry